Okay, we're doing some more review for the exam. So simplify these expressions, 3x squared y, which is getting squared, so all of that is getting squared. We can apply this 2 to everything on the inside. That's the same as 3 squared, x squared squared, that's x to the 2 times 2, and y to the 1, there's just one y squared, or just y squared. So this is 3 squared, or 9. And this is x to the 2 times 2, or x to the 4, and y squared. For our next one, negative 2xy times negative 4x cubed y times negative 4x times negative 5y. We'll take a look at all the number parts. So there's a negative 2 and a negative 4 and a negative 4 and a negative 5. 2 times 4 times 4 times 5 is 160. Oops. 160. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4 negative signs, so it's going to be an even number, which is positive. For our x's, we got 1 x cubed and another x. So that's x times x cubed times x. That's x to the 1 and x to the 1 if we don't write an exponent. That's the same as the x to the 1 plus 3 plus 1, which is x to the 3, 4, 5. For our y's, we have a y, and another y. That's like y times y times y, which is y to the 1, 1, 1, which is y to the 1 plus 1 plus 1, which is y cubed. So we get 160 x to the 5th y cubed when we simplify this one out. For C, we've got 2y times 3 times y squared times negative 4y squared over negative 3y. Let's look at the numbers. We've got 2, 3, negative 4, and negative 3. I see 2 negative signs, which means the answer is going to be positive. I see 2 times 3 is 6, times 4 is 24, divided by 3 is going to be 8. So our number part is 8. For our y's, we got a y squared, and a y squared, and a y. So on the top, we have y times y squared times y. And on the bottom, we have a y. 2 of those can just cancel out, right? So y squared times y is y cubed. This should be our answer. We could write this step out here as y to the 1 plus 2 plus 1, which is y to the 4th. 1 plus 2 plus 1 is 4. And over y to the 1, and then it's y to the 4 minus 1, which is y cubed. We get the same result either way. So we could do it that way or the other way. We could just say we're canceling, or we could write it out as y to the 4 minus 1. For D, we got 2x squared y all cubed over 4xy squared times 6x squared over negative 3x. Let's deal with that guy first. This cube needs to go to all the parts on the inside. So 2 cubed is 8. X squared cubed is x to the 2 times 3, which is x to the 6. And y to the 1 cubed is just y cubed. That's still over 4x y squared times 6x squared over negative 3x. Just looking at this right now, I see there's one negative sign only, so my answer is going to be negative. I know that. Now if I look at the number parts, I've got 8 times 6 on the top and 4 and negative 3 on the bottom. So 8 times 6 divided by 4 and divided by 3 again. My number part is 4. Negative 4, because there's a 1 negative sign. Which you could have done by 8 over 4 cancels out to 2, and 6 over 3 cancels out to 2, and 2 times 2 is 4. Same thing. For the x's, I've got x to the 6 and x squared on the top, x and x on the bottom. So on the top I have 6, 7, 8 x's. On the bottom I have 1, 2. 8 minus 2 is going to be, so this is x to the 8 minus 2, which is going to be 6. For the y's, I've only got a little bit. I've got y cubed and y squared. Y cubed over y squared is y to the 3 minus 2, which is just 1. So 2 of these cancel out 2 of those, and we're left with just 1. So this is going to be our answer for D. Next, we'll keep doing the same kind of thing. So I'll take a look at my numbers. 4 times 3 times a half is 6. So for the numbers, I know I'm going to have 6 as my answer. It's going to be negative 6 because I only had one negative sign there. For the x's, I've got x squared, x, and x to the 4th. That's 2, 3, and 4 more is 7. And for the y's, I've got 1, 3 more is 4, 2 more is 6. I got y to the 6. So that should be all for this one. For f, I just need to make sure to apply these squareds to the inside first. So on the top, I've got negative 3 squared, so that's negative 3 to the power of 4. Negative 3 to the power of 4 is 81. Just write that over here, 81. On the bottom, I'm just doing the number. Maybe I'll just highlight that I'm doing the numbers here. Number. I have 5 to the power of 1, and then squaring it out here, so that's 5 squared. And 5 squared is 25. 81 over 25 doesn't really reduce to anything nice, so I'll just leave it like that. You could write it as a decimal or a mixed number or anything if you like, but I'm not going to bother. For the a's, I've got a cubed, which needs to get squared, which is a to the 6 on top. And on the bottom, I've got a, which needs to get squared, which is a 2 on the bottom. So 6 minus 2 is a to the 4. For the b's, I've got b, which needs to get squared, and b to the 0. Oh, I don't need to care about the b at all, do I? Because anything to the 0 is just 1. And multiplying by 1 doesn't really make anything interesting. So I can skip that. So on the top, I've got b squared, which is just b squared. And now for the c's, I've got c cubed and c squared. They both got to get squared by their outer bit there. So I've got c cubed squared, 3 times 2 is 6. And on the bottom I've got c squared, 2 times 2 is 4. And 6 minus 4 is going to be 2. It's a positive 2, so I write it on the top. If it were like 4 minus 6, I would write c squared on the bottom, because there's 2 more on the bottom than were on the top. But at any rate, that's done f. For g, we're going to keep doing the same thing. We've got numbers 3, 2, and negative 3. There's no brackets with exponents on the outside of them, so we don't need to worry about distributing that stuff out. So 3 times 2 times 3 is just going to be 18. There's one negative sign, so it's negative 18. For the x's, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When we're just multiplying, it really is a matter of counting. For the y's, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So 3 here, and 1 more is 4. So the ones that are just multiplication like this are the quickest to go through for sure. And for h, we got this squared on the outside, needs to be distributed to everything on the inside. We can do it 2 ways. One is to do all that distribution first, so that's m to the 3 times 2 over m to the 2 times 2, and n to the 4 times 2 over there. So 3 times 2 is, to write it over here, m to the 6. 2 times 2 is m to the 4, and my end result will be m to the 6 minus 4, which is squared. And for the n, I've only got n on the top, and there's 4 times 2 of them, it's n to the 8. So this should be my answer. The other way I could do it is by simplifying this part first. M cubed divided by m squared. That's, just do this over here, maybe a different color. M cubed over m squared is m to the 3 minus 2, which is just m. And if I bring in my n's, I got n to the 4th, and I remember that it's a square on the outside. I can then distribute now, and now that's just m to the 1 times 2, which is m squared, and n to the 4 times 2, which is just n to the 8. So same answer, two different styles of how to go through. Okay, I'll stop here because we're already getting long. Move on to the next one.